Welcome to Brody GP. This is episode number 58. We are coming at you after the American round of GP racing in Texas, the COTA round. On the phone with me, as always, is Kevin.
I'm here and I'm hyped. Some shit went down. Ready to talk about it.
Finally some shit went down. Well, shit always goes down, but some amazing shit this time.
Nah, dude, some real shit, some juicy controversy. The shit, man, happened. It went down.
Kevin's got his hype on.
It's time to talk shit about it.
Ev is here too.
No fake news, but fake words.
Exactly. Controversy is not a fake word.
It's getting added to the dictionary this year.
Dennis is missing. I think he's at Muay Thai, but he might be listening in a little later. He might decide to beep in, but I don't know if that even worked now. So hopefully everyone sounds better.
That was a subtle hint
to
beep in.
Yeah, right? We have everyone on a new recording style right now, so I hope that they all sound better. I hope that there's no more airport bathroom references, but it just might happen.
We've made significant...
You know what goes down we know what goes down in airport bathrooms. Just ask any GOP fucking congressman. We know
Absolutely.
What happens in airport bathrooms. Fun times.
But those aren't recorded though,
right? We made significant investments in free software.
Yes.
To bring higher quality podcasts to the masses.
Making deals, right? Making deals.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna change up the format just a little bit here, and I want to get everyone hyped on this amazing weekend and just jump straight into it. We will get to business and awesome stuff later, but so let's do this. MotoGP race. It happened. It was bright and sunny. There was nothing crazy going on. A lot of people Actually, all three Michelin rear tires were raced on, so we knew stuff was going to go down. And
fucking 2 seconds into the race recap, and Rob is like, tires. Let's talk about tires. We're talking tire compounds.
Tires.
We literally, before the episode, had an entire conversation where we ixnayed tire talk from the syllabus and outline.
That was
4
it.
seconds.
That was it. That was all I was going to say about the tires. And then we were going to go for it. The next line was Rossi was on the front row.
The only way I would have approved the tire piece from my perspective is if you had incorporated the tire conspiracy from the last round that Rossi perpetuated.
No, we failed. We failed at recording that. We can't even talk about it. I know you want your conspiracy theories, but it's not going to happen.
Dude, that's a topic. That's a hot topic. I would love to know where that ended up, but anyway.
No, we're moving on. All right, so let's talk about this freaking
An actual race happened.
Yes.
An actual competition where racers started at a line, they dropped a flag, and they competed to see who was the first to cross that line 46 minutes later. Happened. So we're going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Take it, Kev. Since you just
Silence,
described,
motherfucker.
Yeah.
You just described the whole race for us. Essentially, the whole point of actually motorcycle
Let me explain
racing.
what a motorcycle race is. You take an engine, and in a twin spar chassis, you attach a front and a rear wheel. Exactly. I'll tell you what happened. Maverick Vinales made the first fucking mistake he's made in a race. In first mistake for the Yamaha. It's only the third time he's crashed, oddly enough, but he crashed 2 laps in. Spent the entire weekend and saying the race was going to come to the final 10 laps. And 2 laps in, he crashes. And then what do we get? We get the undefeated American rider, Marc Marquez, running away with it once again.
Whoa, you just went from like lap 2 to the finish, like straight. There was so much to talk about.
I think the episode's over. Damn, fastest episode ever. We're done.
We're over. Yeah, exactly. Done.
Yeah, so Mav, I feel like Mav pulled exactly what he did in the other 2 races, just kind of started out within the top 5 and kind of was taking his time, and then he just tucks the front. And when I first saw him crash, I thought he made it to those bumps that everyone had been hitting in the fast right-hander, but he didn't even get there. Mm-hmm. Just lost the front. So we actually...
Just slightly off.
Yeah, right? He was a little bit wide, and from the onboard, it looked like he got on the throttle just a little bit too early because he kind of pulled up, but... You know, that was that first mistake.
You did see on that real quick on that onboard. You did see where it did kind of like have a little bounce to it or something like that, and it makes you wonder if he just got a little bit of spike in the throttle or what. But
and that was something that we saw about the whole entire weekend, right? Is the riders were complaining so much about the bumpy track, right? And everyone knew that was going to be an issue during the race, and it may not have been the sole cause of Maverick going down. but it probably helped at least a little bit.
Oh yeah.
All right,
got a bad tire problem.
let's. Oh, wait, you're gonna throw that one out there?
It was too easy.
Too easy. So the other exciting thing that happened early on in the race too was Johan Zarco actually made an impressive push to the top 5. So that kind of solidified the first half of the race for me.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's obviously, he's, people are giving him shit. He's riding, we got to stop with that Moto2 style stuff, but whatever, dude, fuck it. Rubin's racing. He saw what he thought could be a pass. He went for it. He pushed Valentino, obviously, out, off the track, essentially. But the dude is a rookie, and no one expected him to be as fast as he is, pretty much. I mean, I don't know about no one, but the vast majority of guys expected him to not be anywhere where he is, which is leading laps on his first race, battling for the top 5, and generally riding the wheels off of that thing and proving that the Yamaha is, the Tech 3 team's a really good bike, and he's up there. He's battling with Cal, a multiple-time race winner. Still weird to say that. And, and you know what I mean? And he's sort of proven... It's not real. Yeah, it's not real, man. We're in an alternate universe. And Zarco is kind of been a revelation for a lot of people, and I was sort of a skeptic. I'm like, okay, he led a race on really soft tires. No one ever got more play out of leading a race before crashing since, Yanni Hernandez in the rain. And we all know kind of where that went to, crashing in Moto2. So to see Zarco, everyone's kind of on his jock, and that's cool and all, but I'm like, hey, Maverick just won 2 races. But Zarco, I think, proved he's the real deal, and that satellite Yamaha is, ready for podiums.
I mean, to your point, it's all about expectations, right? We've seen how terrible certain Moto2 riders can do on the Tech 3 Yamaha, and to have Zarco,
Paul,
yeah, right, and to have a Moto2 2-time champion come in and put in these solid performances, I guess I shouldn't say I'm that surprised that people are on his jock this hard. I still don't think he's going to win a race this year. I mean, I think he may end up with a podium or 2, but I shouldn't make predictions. But
you never know. I mean, it could be random, but I think going back to what Kev was saying about how he pulled that stunt in the S's, I mean, the reality is he knows he has to override that bike to be able to beat one of the factories. To your point, how else would you win? So he did what he had to do to try and be at the front, and that meant bumping Rossi. So, Kev, I mean, you got to give him kudos for fucking putting it down. At least he's not Pedrosa just doing laps.
Yeah, I mean, he's not just acquiescing. He's not in awe and worried. Sometimes you got riders who are a little bit in awe of 9-time champion, whatever. And if you heard that click, that was me putting down my wine. Fuck you, I'm drinking. But Zarco is there. He's there to do well. I mean, he's not just on the grid like a lot of other riders are kind of there to get their paycheck. He's there to really to rub and to get things in people's faces and to ride hard and get podiums. And for me to see him pull an aggressive maneuver on the factory Yamaha when he's riding for the Yamaha, it's pretty good. And obviously Dennis isn't even on the recording, but he's sending me messages because he's listening and trying to correct me. Thanks, Dad. I'm not saying overriding. Dude. What I mean is he couldn't get around him. He couldn't make a clean pass, so he said, hey, fuck it. I got to put it up on this guy. You know what I mean? And that's cool. Right. You got to ride a little dirty.
Well, in that position, right? If you're Maverick, you don't need to make that kind of pass. But if you're the satellite bike trying to fight for every inch to be competitive and outdo those guys, you got to do it.
I mean, right. I think most of these riders need that drive anyway, right? Like, you're right. Marquez doesn't have, and Maverick doesn't need to do that because they will find a different way. But everyone else on the grid will likely need to make moves like that to accomplish anything in these races, especially against a rider like Valentino Rossi.
And one thing I want to say about Zarco, too, is I think the dude's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. He is the 2-time champ of Moto2, the first guy to win, yet he got bumped for Alex Rins for that Suzuki factory ride. And Zarco was kind of looked down upon a little bit. But yeah, he could do backflips and stuff. But I don't think he necessarily got the same respect as, say, Maverick did when Maverick was winning races, who never even won the title in Moto2. And so I think Zarco's coming in, having that Tech 3 ride after getting, given the chance to ride the Suzuki and then kind of getting bumped for Rins, who's turned out to be a total bust right now, and he has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, and he's a dirty Frenchman, and he's riding dirty. I love that. Me personally, I'm into it.
That is a pretty good point. He kind of brought up something similar in the pre-event press conference when he was talking about how he thinks that Moto 2 isn't really a respected class. Like, everyone else gets more respect for their potential talent in GP than he does for those 2 titles. But all right,
Jack Miller. Jack Miller was given more respect for not winning the Moto 3 world title than Zarco was, right? Than Zarco was. I mean, Danny Kent won the Moto 3 world title, and we saw where he is, which is not riding at all because he fucking quit like a bitch.
Yeah,
but
that's how you know. That's how you know.
That's how you know, man. Right, and I think he's right. I mean, Moto 2 is I think it's Tito fucked that class up, but Zarco has a point there. Like, he won that title, he won it twice, and there he is, causing dudes to run off the track and get penalties.
There's the perfect segue.
Yeah, segue.
Should we
segue?
So the main talking point about all of this is the Rossi penalty. Should we finish the race recap first, or should we just jump right into it?
No.
Fuck, everyone knows what happened, and we already lost the race recap because I was talking about Jack Miller from 2015. So, come on.
Everybody left.
All right, the Rossi penalty.
Yeah, exactly.
So the world seems
bullshit.
The world isn't really divided here.
Bullshit.
There are like 3 or 4 people, that actually think the penalty was a good idea, and then there's the rest of the world.
That's because you're fucking dumb.
That's fucked up.
So if you didn't know because you only saw the race results or something, Rossi was dinged 0.3 of a second for running off track and gaining an advantage. It's black and white. It's in the rule book. If you run off track and you gain an advantage, you're going to be penalized in some way. A year or 2 ago, especially in Moto 3, it was you had to drop a position if that happened, and then some guy was 10 seconds ahead when they handed out the penalty, and he had to drop way back to do that. Now Race Direction has the ability to give time penalties, which is great because Rossi got 0.3 of a second. It didn't matter one bit. But why do you think it's bullshit?
The time penalty, yeah.
Why? Because he didn't first of all, it was bullshit because it didn't matter. But because he didn't run off the track because he rode in and blew the turn, right? This wasn't like guys blowing chicanes or guys overriding and exceeding track limits to gain advantage. A dirty frog almost ran into him. He had to fly off the track to avoid it. Yeah, I said it. He had to come off the track. What are you going to do? Not gas it? You don't just slow down. These guys aren't paid millions of dollars to let off the motherfucking gas.
But they're also not paid millions of dollars to get a fucking 0.3 time penalty
advantage,
right?
Yes, but that penalty came after the fact. He did not choose to take that advantage. The advantage was basically forced upon him because Zarco. What is he? He even said, "I was either going to crash or run off the track and then keep track." Hold on. What's the first thing they teach you when you're riding bikes in MSF school or in your new races school is you have more traction when you're on the gas. You're telling me he just narrowly avoids crashing, and the first thing he's supposed to do is shut the throttle off? That's counterintuitive to everything you're told.
We're talking
on a bike.
We're talking about 0.3 of a second here. At that speed, it's not shut the throttle off. It's crack the throttle.
0.3 of a second.
It's crack the throttle to 80% for a second or 2. Right? It was very blatant. It was very blatant in the footage that he had 100 feet to Marquez when he got bumped off track, and then after everything was said and done, he had 20 feet to Marquez, and that was his 0.3.
So
that's because.
So yeah, let me jump in the middle here because I kind of see both sides, and I think in that specific section of the track, the move that Zarco put, Rossi had no choice. But Rossi grabbing the gas, and this is where my conspiracy on this particular topic comes in, is it gave him the advantage. He had a pretty sizable gap to Dani at that point, and he closed it up immediately. Had he not gotten that advantage and he had to fight with Zarco a little bit longer, how would the race outcome have been affected if Zarco was able to battle him? And then if he had been able to latch on to the Honda, what did that enable? So I think the penalty kind of makes sense, but I think it's a really gray area given the fact that he didn't gain an advantage by passing a rider, so he didn't have to give the position back, yet it was clearly an advantage. So yeah, I see both sides. it fortunately didn't really matter. I'm glad it didn't matter because it would have been a real big asterisk on things if it came down to those 4 points.
Yeah, we would have stopped talking about it later.
Webb. It's just Mike Webb in race direction fucking flexing their nuts, right? Because Rossi kicks a dude off a bike 2 years ago, clearly, and everyone takes his side. And just basically tells MotoGP and Carmelo and Dorna they're full of shit. You fucked it up. You ruined the championship. Like, there was a point there where Valentino sort of proved he was bigger than the sport itself. And they've never really forgiven him for that because they're a bunch of uptight assholes. And it's just they're another example of flexing nuts on him a little bit because they don't want him. They almost don't want to appear to be playing favorites because they've been accused of it so long with him. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. And so they got to give him the penalty.
You know,
like they get rid.
On the flip side of that too, I think that Rossi's judgment on the whole situation while it was happening was actually clouded by previous favoritism. Right? If that incident with Marquez at Assen hadn't happened a few years ago, maybe he wouldn't have throttled hard through it. Maybe he would have got back on track right in front of Zarco and just stayed there, and then he wouldn't have got the penalty. Right? We can all agree that if he hadn't have pulled up to Marquez, he would not have received the penalty. Because I actually checked the timesheets, and it was 0.275 seconds. That sector was faster than the lap before. So it's not like the 0.3 seconds was an arbitrary number. They looked at the timesheets, they saw how much advantage he probably gained, and they gave it to him.
Right, but my point is that the time wasn't the real benefit. The benefit was that he didn't have to dice with Zarco anymore, who's obviously right latched onto him
so fucking hard afterwards.
That's not the point, dude. If you have a toe, you can keep the toe, and if you have the toe, you can keep on jumping in front and lunging to slow him down. He would have fucked up Rossi's pace the whole time. I think he really benefited in a major way from that whole incident.
I agree that he benefited from it, but to be fair, the reason why Zarco pulled up on him was because he really screwed up turn one. So he screwed up turn one, kind of was slow into turn two, and Zarco pulls up.
The real reason everyone was pissed, right? And let me get a less dark for a second. The real reason everyone was pissed is this just another classic example of pointless micromanaging. Like, these are badass, super cool motorcycle riders riding these 300 horsepower beasts around fucking Texas, right? Everything's bigger in Texas unless you make a little mistake, and then the fucking middle management jumps down on you. Like, Mike Webb ain't fucking nobody. He's like fucking dude from Office Space. He's middle management, and he's just trying to flex his nuts and a little bit of power. And everyone on fucking Twitter and Instagram is so sick of everything being micromanaged to a T. You're starting to tell me that little mistakes where these guys are thinking in thousandths and hundredths of a second, and we're going to micromanage every little spot and make every little mistake and calculate how much exactly advantage he got or didn't get. You know why Zarco doesn't get the toe on Rossi? Because he fucked his pass up. That's why. Because he made a pass that didn't stick and he pushed the guy off the track, and
that's
he
fair.
ended up giving that guy his advantage.
I'll give you that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Instead, they fucking a bunch of middle management dudes at Dorna decide they're going to micromanage portions of laps to figure out exactly how much advantage he got on the guy in second and first, and then apply that. You can't tell Valentino in any way, shape, or form, because there's no radio, that he has a 0.3 advantage. So now everyone's sitting there thinking, shit, did they just ruin the race? You know what I mean? Like, that was instantaneously.
I did think about that, yeah. We all had to have had that thought.
Like, the first thing Mike, literally, their little middle management guy makes a decision, and 100 million people across the thing, the first thing they think is, did they just ruin this race? I.e., did this guy with no accountability just ruin the product that we're selling?
Yeah.
That's how I know it was a mistake, because there was no positive response to it whatsoever.
And that reaction, I had the exact same first thought, was like, oh, you guys, why did you do that? Like, just let him fucking go. Like, it's over.
I mean, thankfully it was over.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, this is, you could see if he ran off the track, gassed it, gained a bunch of time, and then passed Pedrosa or Marquez right afterwards. He just gassed it, stayed straight, was on the track, and kept going. There was no major advantage whatsoever. That's my point. We're talking about, okay, we're gonna dock dudes a couple tenths of a second. Fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, for reals. This is like he didn't turn in his TPS report before lunch break, so they wrote him up and put something on his record.
Yeah, and the hard part is, and the hard part I struggled with was the whole time was, and you saw how they were all trying to react at the pit boards, and were they going to tell Dani, were they going to tell Rossi, and then
dude, HRC was on top of it. They were the one that made the pit board that said
Custom.
penalty on it. Yeah,
right.
They found a white marker.
That's factory right there, dude. A fucking white Sharpie pen or whatever, like a paint pen.
Yeah, for reals.
That was a tire pen. That's exactly what that fucking thing was. Now that I think about it. But that's the whole problem is how do you communicate that a 0.3 penalty? And I just wish the rule was a little more cut and dry. You either drop back a place or you don't do anything.
Well, I mean, the drop back a place has its disadvantages, which is why they've done this. But I mean, I had a good idea for how they communicate. Like, if he was in front of Pedrosa, but Pedrosa was less than 0.3 behind, just show him P3 and Pedrosa's in front. He might get it. What did a history lesson here. Remind me real fast. Wasn't there a race where Rossi got a penalty and pulled out way in front, like 15 seconds up, and still won it?
Yeah, they gave him a 10-second penalty, so then, of course, he gapped everyone by 10 seconds. It was like 2003, I believe.
Yeah. What was the penalty?
Example of the art. I think it just said plus 10 seconds
something. I think he cut a corner or something like that. He ran off the track or cut like a chicane or something.
No, he passed under a yellow and then later said that he thought the yellow was one of his fan flags.
Which is a fair answer, really.
Which is, no one has ever talked about, and we have to get to our plugs here in a second. Dennis is blowing me up. But no one has ever talked about whether he chose yellow because he knew he could use that at some point. That's an episode worth talking about.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean?
That's After Dark. Up. You got to talk about that one when you explain the layout of your bathroom.
Yes,
we'll
exactly.
Get there in an After Dark episode. All right, let's.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. Right. I still have that recorded. All right, let's.
Speaking of getting there.
Exactly. All right, everyone. So we tempted you with the first rant, which actually I was a little surprised at. But let's do some business now. So, of course, this amazing episode is brought to you by Riders Law. They are still hooking us up. They're sponsoring everything in motorsports that you can imagine right now, except MotoGP. They need to get in on that. But either way, Riders Law, they're your...
Nah. They need to give me that Zuma first.
Yeah, the Zuma...
First things first.
The Zuma is probably a little cheaper than sponsoring even Carl.
Seriously.
Right, exactly.
Riders Law, they're your California motorcycle and accident injury lawyers. If you ever need any legal help, and especially if you're in California, but if you're throughout the United States, please give them a call. They will take care of you. They're amazing lawyers. And they can do you a solid. So if you get into an accident on the street, you need some legal help, call them up. What else do we got on the cards for a plug today? Don't we have something new?
Oh, we do. Mm-hmm. So Z2 Track Days, if you're a guy who actually rides motorcycles and not only enjoys watching them being ridden and does track days, Z2 Track Days is a company that does a lot of track days up and down the West Coast. Pretty popular. Dennis rides with them a lot, and they were cool enough to hook you guys up. If you like to ride, you have track bikes, you want to get out there, and you enter promo code BROTOGP on their website, you get a pretty sweet discount. So again, 90% of our sponsorships are hooking you guys up. So quit giving a shit about selling out.
Yeah, right? It's all for you guys. I think that
it's all for you guys, for reals.
And the discount code is BROTOGP, and it's all lowercase, I'm pretty sure.
All
so type that into their website.
Case. No caps, dog. No
that
caps.
Part's important. All right, we got one more. So
hold on. I also want to give Kim and John Hobbs a shout out because they're of one of the many people who got the free stickers I sent out, but they were nice enough to send me a handwritten, very pleasant thank you card, and that they enjoy listening to the show. It was classy as fuck, dude. It was handwritten like in a pen. It was probably like a classy ass wood fountain pen they wrote it into. For reals. Ken and John, you guys are nice, and I appreciate that. Shout out.
You have a special place in Kev's heart.
Kev takes care of all of the mailing out stuff. So if you guys want to send him stuff when you receive something, you probably have his address now. But only fan mail.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I think we got one more little plug. So Dennis is supporting this product called Break Free, right? Someone correct me. That's exactly what the name is. Break Free. Yeah. So Break Free is it's actually a new product for motorcycle. It's a safety product. It's actually a brake light that kind of sticks onto the back of your helmet and will let people behind you know when you're actually slowing down whether or not you've touched the brakes. So check them out. They've got a Kickstarter going. We're giving them a quick little plug here. Hopefully, I think Dennis wants one for free. That's probably what it is.
It's an excuse to ride your track bike on the street without having to put your lights back on.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. There's always an angle, and I'm just saying.
Rider's Law in no way condones such behavior, but MotoGP might.
Exactly. No, I definitely do. I'm brake laws and steel stuff.
Yeah, there it is.
All of that. Yeah. Steel stuff. Yeah.
Well, okay. Sure. So you brought up laws. So let's talk about some more MotoGP regulations and some shit that went down in qualifying. So someone
the Rule Master is coming out.
Someone got blocked.
Right.
In
yeah.
qualifying.
Exactly. Right, no, that Maverick and Rossi had a little incident where they almost came together and didn't, and then when Valentino pulled forward, Maverick got up and gave him a little, old man Simpson shake of the fist, get off my lawn. I don't know what that was all about. And everyone decided to turn that into a much bigger incident than it was. But yes, they almost came together during a hotly contested qualifying, hotly contested practice, sessions that saw Maverick and Marquez trade things back and forth. So obviously there was some pressure on the line. But we obviously saw what, depending on who you talk to, was the first cracks in the Yamaha garage.
I mean, I think the incident was tiny and non-existent. I mean, Rossi was...
Put the wall up.
Rossi was blocked by, I think, Redding
right.
was right in front of him, right? He had to go a little bit slow into that corner. They were all fighting for space. Coda is a very long track.
Redding didn't have to go real slow that corner. He just goes slow.
He's on a Ducati, bro.
Yeah, I mean, this wasn't like Rossi blocking Jorge at Misano a year or two ago, where he actually got penalty points, right? Rossi wasn't going that slow, and Dorna has eliminated the penalty point system anyway, so we don't even need to talk about that. But yeah, Mav got pissed off, he got a little butthurt, but I feel like once we made it back to Parc Fermé and he was still there, he stopped talking about it. It wasn't anything after that.
Right, and you know who fucking kept talking about it? Was the stupid-ass commentators who kept saying, is this the time? Is this the rift? Or is this the first cracks in the teammates? And, they were helping each other in qualifying last year, it seemed, and now this. And UK journalists are blowing it up. The same fucking assholes who were killing the fans, telling us all we weren't real fans because they were booing Jorge or booing Marquez. These guys are literally attempting to fabricate drama when there's not, but the first thing they do when drama happens is they fucking hate on the fans who choose sides. You sit there and try and foster and complain and cause this rift, and then you hate on the fans for doing the same thing. It was literally, I was getting so fucking pissed, and not just at Nick Harris for not knowing any, my girlfriend just walked in the room and completely ruined my flow. Get out in the other room. She's gotta go to the bathroom. So, she's...
Wait, I thought you weren't recording in the bathroom.
I'm not, but the bathroom, for all you guys know, my bathroom is in my living room. But anyways, the whole point being that this is the same guys who are literally, complaining about fans, stop booing, you have to clap. They're doing all this stuff that's effectively decrying the outcome of drama. Right? The fallout from dramatic things when guys come together and the fallout from when rivalries happen. And here they are literally trying to manufacture out of nothing. And personally, I think it's that a lot of these guys are just over Valentino. It's not that they didn't like them booing Marquez or Jorge. It was that they wanted them to boo Valentino. These dudes have been calling him and seeing him for so long, and they're just kind of over it. Because I know Everett's over it, and I kind of know Dennis is over it.
I've been.
You know what I mean? For real.
You know what the thing?
His mic was tested by saying Rossi sucks balls until he could get his gains in the perfect spot on the list.
Oh, dude. Dude,
but for me, it was just like this hypocrisy at a level that drives me fucking insane. They were literally they're trying to manufacture the same thing that they were hating on fans worldwide for embracing 18 months ago.
Yep. I mean, it's weird. I'm conflicted too because I really didn't like Rossi for so many years until maybe the last year yet. I'm not a Rossi fan, but I like highly, highly respect him in the last couple of years because I think the one thing about Rossi is he's still the smartest guy on the grid, bar none. Absolutely the smartest guy, and that's why he's leading the championship.
Right. And for me, it was just like, it was a total non-issue. I knew that Maverick wasn't going to say shit, right? Because I think personally Maverick... I've said it before. Dude is an assassin, and Valentino is not his target. If this was Game of Thrones and it was Jaqen Hagar, Arya did not say Valentino's name. She said Marc Marquez. That's his target, that's his kill, and that's who he's after. Hey, Val Margolis, motherfuckers. But that's his kill. There's no point, Maverick is the first guy who knows there's no point trying to fight Rossi because you're not going to win. And you know what? It doesn't matter because Rossi's on the downslope. Marc Marquez is the reigning champion, not Valentino. Marc Marquez is the guy that he needs to shake and beat day in and day out. He's the one he has to rattle. Stay on Valentino's good side, smile out of one side of your mouth, and plot out the other.
So that's nothing. I was going to say, that's what's really crazy is that the guy who we've been hyping up and we thought is just going to have this thing under complete control crashed out, and so early, even though he had a very commanding lead, it just gone up in air that fast. And Rossi's leading. Marquez is kind of...
He means a commanding lead in the title. Not in the race, in the title hunt, Rob. He means it literally in the title hunt. Yeah, okay, yeah. Because I was like, what the fuck is this dude talking about? No, but yeah, I mean, and that could be, can Valentino sort of pull a Ben Bostrom in AMA? And I'm really dating myself with that 1998 reference. But... he's clearly not the fastest, but he's the most consistent, and he's not making mistakes when the other guys are.
That's my point. He's the smartest. All he's doing in all the races, it's the most boring, lame shit you've ever seen, but all he's doing is following somebody. He's not taking any risks. He's not overriding and qualifying. He's not crashing. He's just basically just doing the bare minimum to just stay at the front and then letting everyone else, crash or, fall out through attrition or whatever.
I mean,
now let me tell you who's doing the bare minimum to stay at the front, and that's Nick Harris. I'm not to cut you off right now, but seriously, fuck this dude, okay? Before it was kind of funny, he's like this old dude, he mixes up their names, it's jolly, but he's been the voice of GP for so long. No, this dude is doing less than the bare minimum, because the bare minimum as a commentator is one of two things. Be entertaining or be informative. That is why they have two-man commentary teams in every sport across the world. A straight guy and a color guy. And you either be informative, be the straight guy, or be entertaining and be the color guy. This guy knows none. He doesn't do anything right. At one point in the recording, he was talking, and then he just started going on this tangent where he fumbled names for like 15 seconds, and then it was silence. He just completely quit, and instead of the other guy kind of saving him and jumping in, like, oh, you mean, Zarco was doing this? Oh, yeah, blah, blah. He just went on to the play-by-play. Like, he didn't even know what the fuck he was talking about. Like, literally, 3 minutes ago, in the middle of one of my marquee rants, my girlfriend walked in the room and went and took a piss. Right? Like, that totally threw me off my flow, but I just jumped right back on, because I'm a goddamn professional. This guy is literally, I don't know how much he's getting paid, but it's way too fucking much, because he can't look at a screen and tell me what's happening on that screen. Dude, there's only 2 Tech 3 bikes on there. It's not like there's a horde of them. It's either Zarco or Folger. And chances are, right now, if it's towards the front, we're talking about Zarco. It's not that hard. And so whatever he was talking about when he was saying Folger, but he meant Zarco, and then utterly forgot, he was so out in left field that the dude sitting next to him didn't know. Like, literally, Everett drives in his car on the way home. Everett did better in an Uber on the phone in a different fucking state while talking to me than this guy can do on the screen, on the track, next to a professional straight man commentator. Why is he still on the broadcast? No one likes him. Everyone hates him more than they hate Alex Marquez. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real.
Are you certain?
I think it's true. I think it commands a poll. Like, not a poll, like a poll, to take results and vote.
Right, I'm going to post a Facebook poll of, is Nick Harris the worst or the worst ever? Like, you know what I mean? Like, this guy's so bad. It's
Is there an all of the above? Is it multiple choice? All of the above?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's unbelievable how bad this guy is. Like, it used to be funny that he would mix up their names, and sometimes I would say I could do it better than that, and Rob would say, oh, no, because when you did Moto 3, those guys' names are hard. And by the way, that dude who had that epic save had the craziest Thai name ever, and fucking Bert said that name straight like 4 times, no mix-up. That dude is a professional.
Bertie,
those guys down there... Those guys in the subclasses are really good, actually.
Oh,
they gotta promote that dude.
No, they are.
That guy's a 2-time.
They're.
But promote him to MotoGP.
You know they're bringing them up. Like, I'm counting the days until Nick Harris retires, and they're gonna have Matt Burt and the other dude. I don't even know the other dude's name yet because
it doesn't even fucking matter. That's what I'm saying.
You don't need a name.
There's a dude who we don't know, but we know he's better than Nick Harris.
That's a good point.
Like, I don't want to sound like the most egotistical guy ever, even though I am sweet and my modesty is probably my best quality. But me and Everett and Rob routinely record a podcast drunk as fuck. Like, I'm half a bottle deep of wine right now, and I'm a better commentator on no budget
with cell phones.
Yeah.
In 3 different cities across the state on fucking iPads and cell phones. You know what I mean? For reals. Fire this motherfucker like yesterday.
You're going to get blown up on Facebook about us recording commentating for a race now. It's going to happen.
People are calling for it.
I know.
They're calling for it.
Whatever. We can't make any promises. We don't have...
Kev,
I don't have any time. You guys do.
Kev, it's your destiny.
Yeah, right?
That's what I'm saying. It's my destiny.
Kev just wants to take over everyone's job in the GP paddock. Aspar's freaking PR guy.
If you don't put it out there, it can't happen. So he's got all the
secret,
feelers,
bro. It's the secret. You got to say it. You got to let the universe know. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, I don't want to go that long, but it's just insufferable. And the people who used to tell me, like, but he's like this jolly old guy, he's so funny, they're even over it. They're like, quietly, they're like, dude, fuck this, bro, for reals.
All right, we gotta move on back to some actual racing, because I feel like, is it 3 rants now? Do you have a?
I got to give the people what they want.
It was a very rant-worthy race.
It was. I'm saying I was stoked because of that.
All right, so So I don't know if you can rant about this. So let's move on to Marc Marquez, because we haven't really given him much airtime, and he clearly demonstrated this race that he just owns that track. He owns Texas, and he pretty much just destroys in America too, even though we don't race much there anymore.
Yeah, it's crazy that he's like 10 races deep, undefeated in America. Like, what is it about this country that makes him able to win races? I mean, because Laguna Seca, Coda, and Indy are not, like, they don't share a lot of, you know what I mean, like, attributes. These are not tracks that are all somewhat similar. These are very different tracks all around. An old track, a new track, a hodgepodge put together track, and yet he's undefeated. Even when he struggles and doesn't have the best years, or even when he's made mistakes and 8th in the championship going into Coda, and there he is, he wins. Everyone fucking knows.
It was just, I mean, Mav's mistake definitely contributed to it. We were all looking forward to the Marquez versus Maverick battle that never actually materialized. But you got to imagine that he just kind of held back a little bit there behind Dani, took his time, and then once he got in front, just was able to pull away. He can somehow manage the bumps, the crazy aggressive Honda, the lack of front tire grip that everyone else seemed to deal with, even though he ran the hard, and it's insane, the performances he can put in when he finally gets over here to the United States. I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, and that track seems to flatter the Honda quite a bit. You saw, 3 Hondas in the top 4, Marquez, Dani, and Cal. Cal, a lot of people kind of pegged him for the dark horse for a potential victory, and that bike, I was seeing it all over, and he got fourth, so it wasn't like it was the craziest thought ever. And again, 2-time winner. It's the strangest thing to say, but
that's what's really strange. That's what's really strange is we were talking. I think we were texting back and forth that it's not a Ducati track because it's not enough point and shoot. It's got sections like the S's, and then the infield is effectively high speed sweepers. Those are really strong for the Yamaha, but then it's got that really long back straight, and there's a few, and then the front straight, and then the first turn, they're all squared off. You have to really brake hard, square them off, get on the rear, and go. And those are Honda attributes, right? So it's weird how it's got just enough of the flowy and just enough of the point and shoot that's what works for the Honda, not Yamaha flowy only like Qatar or.
I think if
Red Bull Ring
if Marquez wasn't there, this would be kind of an equal track for everyone, except maybe the GP17 Ducati.
You can't talk hypotheticals, according to Rob.
According to
Kev.
According to me, bro.
No,
according to Kev.
But that's
you can't
the
talk
thing.
hypotheticals, man.
Like I was actually pleasantly surprised to see Dani Pedrosa kind of back at the front here because we've kind of missed him since Misano last year.
Right. Will the real Dani Pedrosa please stand up?
And he finally did.
Please stand up.
So
right, yeah, the real Dani Pedrosa, the guy who's in there battling for the lead, but then sort of when he gets past gives up, and then gets past again and gives up. So yeah, we saw the real Dani Pedrosa, the guy who only wins in perfect conditions for him.
That's about right.
Oh, that was rough. That was rough.
Why was it rough? It was real. That's what happens every time.
It's real talk, dog. This is real news, Rob.
This is
real fake news.
Real Brodo GP.
Yeah, exactly. This isn't the failing Nick Harris and the fucking failing MotoGP.com with low ratings. So sad.
So sad.
It's too easy, man.
I mean,
it's too easy.
Yeah. So Dani ran the medium front tire. There, I did it again. Where Marquez had the hard. I wasn't surprised that Dani chose the medium because we know that he likes a softer front tire and he doesn't push the front as hard as Marquez does. But at the same time, though, the Honda is much more aggressive on the front end. So I wasn't surprised when Rossi was able to conserve a little bit more and pull in front of him. Because that's what it all came down to. Like Pedrosa had the pace in the beginning, but wasn't able to handle it in the second half of the race.
Yeah, he just dropped off, and then Valentino, closed up on him and went. But we saw Dani kind of return to the podium. The guy is, I've said it since, a couple of years of our podcast now, where he's on the downslope of his career. But again, there he is on the podium. Everyone always calls for him to, who's going to replace him next? I think Everett has probably told me 10 different riders are bound to replace him over the last 10 years. You know what I mean?
I just don't get their loyalty to him. I don't get it. It's like...
Because he still beat Cal. He still got on the podium.
On a good bike, dude. He's on Repsol fucking Honda. It's one of the 4 best bikes on the grid. He better be top 4 every time, and he's not. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The Honda track, there was some question that it's one I think it's funny now is, 6 years ago, his size was too big of an advantage. And now you hear constantly, they must have fucking fed them talking points or something to talk about how his size is a disadvantage now. I don't know if you guys caught that on the broadcast.
I saw
that, but there was constant references to him being so small as being a problem.
Oh, it went both ways, too, because they were talking about his size being an advantage on the drive, like onto the back stretch.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just
the hypocrisy through that commentary was just like, what the fuck are you guys doing? You guys make a point of view and stick with it. Like, what are you doing? It was pretty bad.
Well, I liked it too because he's so light. They said his bike would handle better over the bumps. Like, right. No, I'm just gonna go with no on that one.
That's when the front wheel starts floating and you crash.
Yeah, right. All right, let's so I mean, we covered the Hondas a little bit there. I feel like Marquez will probably continue to own this track as long as he's competitive on that Repsol Honda. He could probably win there on many other different bikes.
But what I think was interesting was how close the Yamahas were this race. Marquez winning this one was not a foregone conclusion. Him and Maverick traded top positions. You had 2 Yamahas on the front row. This was the sort of first time in a while where it was not assumed that a Honda would win, and also not a track where Rossi struggled. I remember in 2015 when Valentino was fighting for the title, and we kept saying, he does well at the tracks he wins at. And then, he's able to do well at the tracks that they're not supposed to do good at is a solid championship run. And what you saw was he got second place at a track that he used to get like 5th and 6th at. You know what I mean? Like that Yamaha really is a solid, easy to ride bike. Like, well, that's evident. Maverick crashed.
Yeah, that's evident with the satellites and everything else, right? I mean, you just see these newcomers that they're doing quite well on it. So then you see them. But I think you make a great point. How far back were they last year? I didn't look that fact up, but I think they were like 15 seconds back or something.
Well, Rossi crashed
each and every
year.
They get better.
Rossi crashed last year because he roasted the clutch on the start, and then he had a bad entry into turn 2.
Last year was pretty bad. Yeah, all around, right? So.
But but Kev has a good point though. Like, this is a very solid championship run in the beginning at tracks that Rossi has generally not been amazing at. So at least
to get second at Coda, a track that's generally been sort of his bogey track for a while now, is a solid. Look forward to heading into Europe, right? If the season starts in Europe, sort of the running talk is that we're going into Europe. Valentino having gotten second at a bogey track and seemingly figured out all the issues in the preseason without any detriment. 2 seconds in the third. Somehow, we talked about Marquez versus Vinales and whether Vinales is the new guy or Marquez is obviously still the king. And there's Valentino leading the championship. Again, at 38 years old and, after a terrible preseason and not really looking all that spectacular in practice or qualifying in any of them. This dude's been in Q1 at one point this season, and yet he's leading the championship. Not by a ton. Not saying I expect him to win it. I still think Maverick wins it, and I still think Maverick wins 9 races this year. But what we're seeing is that Yamaha is solid.
Yeah, that fucking guy, he's just able to pull it out. I don't really agree that Rossi's figured it out yet, right? Like, he's still having issues in FP1 through FP3, and like even he put in a solid performance in FP3 to get like to 4th to guarantee him into Q2 or whatever, and then he was able to put it on the front row. But it seems like they're still at that point where they're taking their sweet time over the weekend to find a good setup. Whereas the Yamaha, at least with all the other Yamahas, they have the setup on the first day. They have the setup on Friday, and then it takes the Hondas a little bit longer to catch up. I mean, Rossi's kind of always done this, right? We know he doesn't qualify that well. We know it's just practice, and he doesn't care that much about it. But if he wants to fight for the titles really hard against Maverick and Marquez, he needs to have this pace sooner in the weekend. Unless he's fucking magic, and he can do this every single weekend, which it could go that way.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, let's before we round this one out, don't we have some Facebook questions? Did you ask people what they wanted to talk about?
I posted something up. I did, and some of it was covered, like, David Greenmeyer wanted to know about Zarco, and we kind of covered that, and one guy wanted to know if Maverick had lost that lovin' feeling, and, I'm just saying he lost that front end feeling.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
But Kev still has him down for 9 wins, so I'm going to go with
I do, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
That's very possible still.
Apparently, Valentino's umbrella girl was a hot topic. Nate Collins brought it up, and he's not the first person to bring it up. So someone go back to the feed, screen cap, and send me that photo of his umbrella girl, because I don't even really know what you guys are talking about. But you're not the first person to bring it up.
Well, Rossi needs a new girlfriend, right? Didn't he dump her like last year?
Yes, and she's with Alonso now, bro. What?
Wait a minute. Wait. You just brought up Formula One before I did in a MotoGP episode.
Exactly. But the number one thing...
That's some dirty leftovers right there.
Exactly. The number one thing that's been brought up to me is, and it segues directly into Maverick's crash, is what was up with Maverick's birth and hips post-crash? For reals, guys. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just go look this up. Like, find the video on Instagram or YouTube. Maverick crashes, and he gets up and walks out, and suddenly he has hips like a 43-year-old Puerto Rican chick. Like, what is happening with his hips?
They're saddlebags.
It's the weirdest thing.
It's crazy.
Straight up, dude. I don't know what's happening, but he is saddlebagging it galore. Like, this dude has birth and hips like you can't even believe. Like, I've backpacked through West Africa, bro. There's some solid hips and gadonkadonks out there, and one of these days I will tell you in the After Dark episode about riding a dirt bike across West Africa to go buy some weed in Niger. But the hips he had was insane. For reals. For like 2 seconds I was like, Maverick's a tranny.
Yeah.
That's a chick. That's a chick. You know what I mean? Like, they asked fucking Brattle 3 years ago if a rider was gay, would we know? But that was a chick in those leathers. That wasn't a dude. And we know Maverick's ex-girlfriend has serious thighs, shot put for days.
We just learned that they broke up a little while ago. Yeah.
Exactly.
Straight up drama now.
Game over,
I'm not entirely sure what was happening with those hips. I mean, Shakira said these hips don't lie, so I have no idea. But for reals, it was a weird thing.
I'll take a crack at it.
Her hips don't lie.
I mean, you know I'm going to.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure that Alpine Star has come out with a newfangled airbag in their suits. Because Maverick runs Alpine Stars. So I'm going with so the airbags, the pro riders, and now Dionysi, you can get a $4,000 suit that has an airbag like all the way down the ribs, and that's why Maverick's waist looks super small, was because his ribs were puffed out too. But I think they put one in the hips. That's what I'm going with. It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on, but it was amazing.
Yeah.
I
like that conspiracy theory, by the way.
The shitty thing about Alpine Stars is they still don't freaking sell their airbag system to us regular people over here that don't have any money for GP level suits and can't afford.
It makes you wonder why they don't do that, though. Yeah.
I mean, they have to.
Yeah, exactly.
But there is a rule coming up, I think, next year that all the suits run by all the riders have to have an airbag. So I don't know. Maybe it'll happen one of these days. All right, Kev,
somebody's gonna go to market with it. Yeah.
You got another one to close it out, or are we good?
The only other thing to close it out is Alex Rhodes sent me the lyrics to She's Lost That Love and Feeling, entirely reworked for Maverick losing that front end feeling, and I'm seriously tempted to start singing right now.
All right, wait.
I'm not joking.
All right, wait,
he wrote the whole song.
I got it. I'll let's close it out. We'll say goodbye, and then I'll play the outro music, and then we'll just fade into you singing. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Hold on, everyone. No, hold on. I also turned on for you guys that like our Facebook page. Not so fast, motherfucker. So, all you guys who wanted to win that helmet were dope. You gave us awesome reviews on iTunes. Lots of contra codes. That was dope. Someone gave us the Mike Tyson's Punch Out code. That was extra sweet. That dude got a free shirt.
I used that.
It works.
He knocks you out. He knocks you out in one punch.
One punch, dog. You gotta dodge left, dodge right, dodge left, dodge right, gut punch. That's the key. But also recently on Facebook, I turned on your ability to review us, and a number of people just popped up and started reviewing us. So sweet. It's kind of lame. My Indonesian army is not reviewing us as great as I would like. But we're getting some pretty good ones. So if you're on Facebook and you follow us, pop us a review, put in whatever you want, write something funny. An old Nintendo thing. Tell me how to get the first and second whistle in Super Mario Brothers 3, and I'll send you something. In the meantime, nice. So that's review us. It's cool.
Oh, yeah.
It's nice of me. I'm a nice guy.
Kev, how many free stickers do we have left?
There's still quite a few. Yeah. No, I got lots.
They're probably
we sent out a bunch.
Yeah. They're probably half gone by now, though, right?
Yeah. So something like that. Yeah. If you want stickers, BroGP Podcast with the Valentino 8-bit. We have these pretty sweet stickers. Rob designed the image. We got them made. Super Mike helped us out. OG Barf Guy, shout out. And I still have a ton. If you want them, they're free. Some people have been kind enough to sort of donate to the project, brotogp.tho@gmail.com. And those who do donate are getting a little extra shit. We got some extra inside stickers, some MV Augusta logo. I send the good shit to the people who donate. If you don't want to donate, if you're broke as fuck like the rest of us, it's cool. I get it. We'll still send you some shit for free. You just might not get the extra cool sticker.
Just message us, send us your address.
We love giving shit out for free.
Yeah, right? That's all we ever do around these parts.
We give a lot of shit away for free, for real.
All right, let's close this one out and let Kev sing after this outro song. Thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll catch you in a couple of weeks.
I don't know if I'm going to sing. It was pretty bad last time. But Alex did send me an entire thing of it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you lost that front end feeling. Whoa, that front end feeling. Now I'm gone. Whoa. Now there's no rubber grips in my hands when I reach for you. They're starting to criticize the hips on my suit. It makes me feel just like crying because baby, my record just died. He literally wrote like 3 different stanzas. It's amazing.
Dude, we need to get some auto-tune software and just hook that song up.
Yeah, exactly.